What happens when a MAGA and a Bernie bro get married?
I am once again asking for your support.
She's literally bought these for the inauguration. I'm going to kill her.
Building 7. So that building got reported being down 26 minutes before it actually fell. And you can't...
Totally normal.
Yeah, right? There's a woman on BBC...
Shut up, conspiracy theorist!
There's a woman on TV, on BBC, talking about...
Oh, I've seen it.
Talking about how the building is already collapsed and it's right behind her.
Well, let me just
26 minutes later, the building collapsed. What do you think?
Well, first
that
of all,
is?
how dare you for noticing? It's really your fault for noticing that, I think. And I think you're a bad person for noticing it, okay? Just to be clear. That's the official position of Washington. Shut up. I don't know the answer, of course. I'm not a structural engineer. A lot of people think what happened to Building 7 seems a lot of structural engineers have written this and think that seems impossible. It seems impossible to me too, but I don't know. All I know is that, as in the case that I described with NATO and Trump, if your answer to a sincere question like, how did that happen, is shut up, it's to attack me for asking the question, then I know you're rotten.
Building 7. So that building got...
This video goes out to Congresswoman Nancy Mace. Congresswoman Nancy Mace, I hope that one day I do find you in that woman's bathroom and I grab your ratty looking fucking hair and drag your face down to the floor while I repeatedly bash it in until the blood's everywhere and you're dead. Thank you. I hope that Nancy Mace receives this message well.
You want that guy to have free range to the restroom next to your wife, daughter, sister, whomever? You really think that we should allow delusional men who think that they're women to go into the bathroom with real women? However much you hate the legacy media, you simply do not hate them enough. It looks like MSNBC is now complaining that the illegal alien that took the life of Laken Riley, quote, never stood a chance and the judge didn't cut him any breaks. Of all of the ways that they could have framed this story, they chose to run with this one. MSNBC's so-called legal analyst, a guy named Danny Cevallos, something like that, wrote an entire article all about how the killer never stood a chance. You know who really never stood a chance? Countless women all across our country, because they were victimized by Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, who let in millions of illegal aliens.
I'm all for justice, Colin.
Hey, Colin, it's Seth. You guys helped me out with that flight from Philippines back to Seattle.
Hey, Seth, how are you? How was that trip back?
Obviously, I mean, I was super sad on board because, my girlfriend wasn't real.
Yep.
Got great news. I met someone else. She's also in the Philippines, so I want to go fly back. I want to fly there, right now. I'm ready to go. My bags are packed. I just need a plane.
Now, just the one way? Are you going there, seeing her, coming back?
I'm planning on going there. I want to propose to her on the spot. I don't want to waste any more time. I'm ready for that next step in my life.
Seth, I am just the private jet guy, but how long have you been speaking to this new person for?
Maybe a week or two ago, so about two weeks.
It is none of my business, but I would strongly advise you to not fly to the Philippines and propose to someone you've known for a week.
I can feel it. She's the one.
I know what you mean. I mean, when I met my girlfriend, I knew instantly she was the one, but then I kept speaking with her for about another 6.5 years. Maybe meet her first, maybe hang out with her for a week, and then decide. If you want to get married and she's the one, then by all means, marry that one. That said, if we left tomorrow, I'm at $155,000 for the one way.
That's no problem. I mean, this is for true love, so I kind of have to. If you can, do you mind giving her a call? I can send you her phone number just so we can make sure she's real.
Have you been speaking with her this entire time?
We've been emailing, texting.
Sorry, you've never spoken with her on the phone?
Not yet.
What's her name?
Her name is Jackie.
Have you sent her any money?
I've sent her a few $1,000s, but...
Why don't you give me her number, and why don't I give her a quick call, let her know that you plan on coming out, and maybe I can send her a car to meet you at the airport, have a sweet little reunion.
Yeah.
Maybe just confirm
that would be amazing.
A female picks up the phone. So let me call her, and then I'll circle back with you, okay?
Okay.
Thanks, Seth. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. I don't think she's a real person. I'm going to call this, and a man's going to pick up. Is this Jackie? Hello?
Who's Jackie?
Are you speaking with a Seth?
Oh, I know Seth.
Seth said he's been speaking with Jackie and given him this number. You've been texting Seth as Jackie?
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. I don't even know why I get involved.
Aletha asked, is my right to IVF really at risk now? I can only tell you what Trump has said and done, right? Let me play this clip for you, but a little context first. In the clip that you're about to hear, Trump was talking about the Alabama Supreme Court case that ruled frozen embryos created through IVF are considered to be children under state law. So he's describing a conversation he had with a Republican senator from Alabama in the wake of that decision. And here is what he said.
So I'm the mother of 3 small children, and I have many friends that have struggled with fertility issues over the years while trying to grow their families. And while they're pro-life, they're very concerned that the abortion bans will affect their ability to access IVF and other fertility treatments. So although abortion does lie with the states, what is your stance on that, and what would you say to those women?
So I got a call from Katie Britt, a young, just a fantastically attractive person from Alabama. She's a senator. And she called me up like emergency, because an Alabama judge had ruled that the IVF clinics were illegal and they have to be closed down. A judge ruled. And she said, friends of mine came up to me and they were so angry. I didn't even know they were going, it's fertilization. I didn't know they were even involved in it. Nobody talks about it. They don't talk about it. But now that they can't do it, she said, I was attacked. In a certain way, I was attacked. And I said, explain IVF very quickly. And within about 2 minutes, I understood it. I said, no, we're totally in favor of IVF. I came out with a statement within an hour, a really powerful statement with some experts, really powerful. And we went totally in favor. The Republican Party, the whole party, Alabama legislature, a day later overturned, meaning approved it, overturned, the judge essentially approved it. And we really are the party for IVF. We want fertilization, and it's all the way. And the Democrats tried to attack us on it, and we're out there on IVF even more than them. So we're totally in favor of it.
And as a final note, it's also important to note that both Republicans and Democrats have actually introduced legislation to federally protect the right to IVF, but both parties have issues with each other's legislation, so nothing has been passed. The Republicans think the Democrats are going too far. The Democrats think the Republicans are not going far enough. But just to be clear, both parties have called for the federal protection of IVF.
So they're really upset about illegal aliens being sent back to Mexico. And to prove how bad of an idea that is, they fly the Mexican flag. Do you like Mexico or not? If you like Mexico so much that you're flying a Mexican flag on American soil to protest the fact that finally the United States is actually enforcing our immigration laws, then maybe, just maybe, you should get on one of those planes and go live in Mexico yourself. You clearly have no allegiance to the United States. You have more allegiance to a foreign-born invader, a criminal, someone violating our national sovereignty, and you seem to love Mexico or whatever foreign country so much. How about you go live there?
Odd take here, but let me talk about DEI for a second. Doesn't it seem that the more and more we try to push equality and push likenesses of people and push, the more people get annoyed? If we just live and let live, everything will be fine. I feel like these DEI trainings and these fucking harassment videos, I want to be in one, by the way. What a fucking great job. They trigger something in people. Not all people, but it's like, why the fuck do I need to learn this? This one's not more special than me. It triggers an egotistical reaction. Therefore, not doing what it was originally intended to. I just saw a picture of a headquarters being painted over, and it's being painted completely gray. There you go, I pulled it up. If I walked into my fucking office or my work and I saw fairness, leadership, I would roll my eyes every fucking day.
Listen, if I pull up to the Mexican restaurant and I see a truck, because let's face it, it's going to be a truck, with a Trump bumper sticker, you're getting keyed. I don't even want to see you at Taco Bell. Listen, if I pull up to the Mexican restaurant and I see a truck, because let's face it, it's going to be a truck, with a Trump bumper sticker, you're getting keyed. I don't even want to see you at Taco Bell.
Well, President Trump has officially ended the DEI hiring in this country. I really had plans to get into his administration. I mean, Trump, listen to me. Listen. You don't have a lesbian. Not one that we know. You don't have tattoos. Get with the program. However, I would hate to get hired just because I'm a lesbian, so here is my audition. Here is my application. I am applying to be the Diet Coke fetcher when you push that button. Please enjoy my unwanted interview. I'm pretty much always awake, so I am at your beck and call. My house already comes pre-stocked.
You know what would really quench my thirst on this busy day? A Diet Coke.
Here you go. Here you go. Would you like me to open it for you? It's nice and chilled. Would you like it in a glass? Would you like it still in the can? How would you like it? There you are.
Thank you.
See how efficient I am? It's just like it comes second nature. Just comes fucking second nature.
Let me just get this straight because I'm a little confused. So if the government shuts down, non-essential employees don't work. Well, that obviously leads to the real question of why does the government have any employees that are non-essential?
President Trump signed an executive order that many news outlets have misconstrued as declassifying the RFK, JFK, and MLK Jr. assassination documents. Here's what Trump's order really does. Spoiler alert, it does not declassify the documents, at least not yet. I know there's a lot of confusion surrounding executive orders, but I want you to think of them like this. The president is the boss of the executive branch of the government, which means an order directs the executive branch to take some action. Executive orders are not laws. So what Trump's order said is this: hey, Director of National Intelligence, within the next 15 days, present me with a plan for the full and complete release of the JFK assassination documents. And then within the next 45 days, present me with a plan for the full and complete release of the RFK and MLK Jr. assassination attempts. However, the order did not declassify the records. Now, if the Director of National Intelligence goes to the president, presents the plan in accordance with the order, and from there, President Trump decides to declassify the records, he can certainly do that. But for now, the records do remain under wraps. For more unbiased news, follow along on social media and tune into the Unbiased Politics podcast on all podcast platforms, YouTube, and Patreon.
But it's a big deal because the Pentagon does waste a ton of money. And one of the main ways it gets away with it is by successfully smearing people who dare to talk about this as somehow not caring about national security, or worse, not caring about the troops. But it's something I've been talking about forever, and I love the troops. I love them so much, I let a troop get me pregnant. Yeah. Thank you. Yes. Don't feel bad. He got combat pay.
Good morning, fellow taxpayers and citizens. I have got today's Daily Doge update for you. And this time, Doge has Congress squarely in its sights. Their fat benefit packages could be on the chopping block. So let's look at the top 10 things that could be going away for Congress. So benefit number 1, no more free parking at Capitol Hill. Now, this has Chuck Schumer all up in arms because he is going to have to circle the lot like a normal person and claims this is a human rights violation. Benefit number 2 is the end of the franking privilege, which means no more free mail for Congress. And Elizabeth Warren is upset she's going to have to pay for her own angry letters to Wall Street from here on out. Now, benefit number 3 is goodbye to government health perks, access to the federal employees health benefits program. That's going to be gone if this gets passed, and they're going to have to sign up for high cost insurance just like the rest of us. Bernie Sanders claims the system is rigged because he will now have to pay for his own health insurance, and he just doesn't like that. Benefit number 4, no more $3,000 living expense deductions. Now, Nancy Pelosi is extremely upset about this. She wants to know how she's supposed to afford her luxurious DC mansion on a congressional salary, and of course she is now calling for new impeachment hearings against Donald Trump. Benefit number 5, the Office of Furniture Allowance is gone. This has got Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, otherwise known as AOC, upset. She doesn't know why she's going to have to assemble her own furniture, and this is why we need socialism. All right, benefit number 6, pension cuts. No more cushy retirement plans for members of Congress moving forward if this can get taken care of. Joe Biden is upset because he thinks he's actually going to have to pay for his own retirement now. Well, he's not going to have to because we all know they got rich. But welcome to the 401k life corn pop. And on benefit number 7, no more free military medical care. This has got John Fetterman all pissed off. He thinks it's an attack on democracy because he can't walk onto a military base and get free medical care. And benefit number 8 is access to the office of the attending physician. If this is passed, that will be gone as well. And Kamala Harris, she had a response to this, but it was such a word salad that I could not repeat it here because I don't want my IQ to go down for the next 30 minutes. benefits. Benefit number 9, no more taxpayer-funded travel. This has got Gavin Newsom extremely pissed off, the governor of California. He wants to know why he's expected to fly commercial because he doesn't look like a Spirit Airlines passenger. Oh well. And benefit number 10, the end of reserved airport parking. So no more reserved parking at the airport for members of Congress. This has got Mitch McConnell pissed because he's going to have to take the airport shuttle like some kind of peasant, and he claims it's an outrage. So with these proposed cuts, Doge is going to be saving the taxpayers hopefully millions of more dollars. Stay tuned. I'll come at you with another update tomorrow about more ridiculous government spending. All right, good evening, citizens. I'm back again. I've had a lot of requests for what are the next 10 programs that Doge are going to cut. So here they are in order. The next program, the National Pillow Fluffing Initiative, at $1.5 million a year, taxpayers are paying to ensure your hotel pillows were at maximum fluffiness. So effectively, immediately, you're going to have to fluff your own pillows. The next program number 2, the Bureau of Elevator Music Standards. We were spending $2.1 million annually to approve soothing tunes for elevators. So from now on, the playlist is your problem and Pandora's problem. Program number 3, let's see, this is the Federal Bureau of Traffic Cone Counting. And believe it or not, we spent $1.3 million per year to ensure every cone is accounted for. And Doge has officially removed those cones. You're welcome. Okay, program number 4, the Office of Seasonal Pumpkin Oversight. We were dumping $800,000 per year into tracking pumpkin spice trends. So goodbye PSL police. You're just going to have to figure that out on your own. The National Chair Spinning Safety Council, $400,000 a year. The Federal Kazoo Orchestra grant. That was a $2 million annual grant for kazoo lovers, and now they're just going to have to toot their horns on their own. Program 7, the American Cloud Watching Fund at $1.1 million. Program 8, the Department of Leftover Labeling. We were spending $600K a year there. Don't ask me what the hell that is all about. Program number 9, the Bureau of Ice Cube Uniformity. We needed to make sure that we were spending $2.5 million to ensure that your ice cubes were nice and uniform. We all know how people get picky about their ice cubes. And last but not least, the National Velcro Noise Study, $1.7 million annually to test which Velcro noise is the most satisfying. So we can do away with that. And with that, that's going to bring an additional $14 million in savings on top of the other $20 million that I talked about in a video earlier today. If you didn't get a chance to see it, go to my profile and check it out. And I will update you once again, maybe sometime next week when I've got the next round of Doge cuts.
Here's your news in under 2 minutes. So listen, Canada, come to the front. We have some things to talk about. So everybody's crying from Canada, right, about the tariffs and how they shouldn't have been implemented so quickly and how they should have had time to have some negotiations. But it's so odd because they just found, right, the federal investigators just took down one of the largest, most sophisticated drug super labs. Well, what do you mean? Do you mean Canada is producing the fentanyl, which is the reason why you got the 25% tariffs in the first place? Oh, Canada, you sneaky little snakes. They found 95.5 million lethal doses of fentanyl. I think the 1% that's getting into the United States is way more than 1% at this point. What do y'all think? Ugh, it's not going to look good. Maybe 50% tariffs. Then we have Carney, right? A gentleman from Canada said that he is not going to be bullied by President Trump and that Canadians will come together and they will reunite. No, I'm going to be completely honest with you. We kind of had this in our last administration where they thought that they could just bully the lower class and the middle class and everybody was just going to keep taking it. You saw what happened there, didn't you? I wouldn't be counting on the united when people are losing their jobs and are not able to pay for groceries. Gonna come back to get you. It looked like Danielle Smith from Alberta, Canada, kind of knew what the hell she was talking about, right? She was picking up what we were throwing down. She had even talked about getting a border czar for Canada so that they could work with the border czar here for the U.S. And I think that's probably the right path. But y'all need to do something about that drug issue you guys have there and all those super labs that you have. That's insane. I don't know. What do y'all think?
You know what I was thinking? Do you guys realize we are the biggest consumers? If you lose us, you're not going to sell anything. So I would like to send a message as an American. All the people in the last video are like, yes, as an American. If you want to bring your factories back to the US, let's go. Let's go. I'm a school teacher, but man, if you bring factory jobs back, good pay, good retirement, a pension, and we could just live, we could again make enough to pay our bills and have maybe a little bit extra. We're not asking for much. We're not asking for much. I just want to be able to afford a 2-bedroom apartment. I want to be able to go to the grocery store and feed my family. That's it. That's it. That's all we're asking for. So if any company in Canada that's thinking this whole thing goes through and is thinking, hey, maybe we'll go to America, we'll go to the United States and open up, yes, come. We want to work. Americans want to work. So come on, let's bring back Detroit. Nevada has a bunch of land. Bring the factories back because we want to work. Let's go. I'm loving this politics. This is a game of chess, baby. Let's go.
Could we see another escalating war yet again with China this term?
Perhaps. But here's the thing. We either take on China now or we take on China later. OK, so there's not a good option here because of the bipartisan failure in Washington, D.C. of complete surrender to the Chinese Communist Party for decades. And I blame George Bush as much as I blame Barack Obama or Joe Biden for that, by the way. But after decades of acquiescence to the CCP in Beijing, after allowing the Chinese Communist Party in predatory tactics to eviscerate American industry, it is time for us to fight back. Now, thankfully, we still have the leverage to do so. But the reality is, for now, we are still dependent on China to source American goods, critical American goods. That has to change, though. Yeah. And the only way that changes is if we start to inflict pain upon the Chinese Communist Party. And again, compel onshoring back into the United States so that we make our semiconductors, our medicines, all the critical goods we need here in the United States. We can do it again if we have the political will to do so.
One of the things I like to remember is that I have no idea how anything works, especially when I definitely have no idea how anything works. Like, I don't know how helicopters work. I don't know how planes work. I don't know how many pilots are in a Black Hawk. I don't know what the other person in the Black... I don't know how many people can be carried in a Black Hawk. I don't know how air traffic control works. I don't know how flying a plane works. I desperately need you motherfuckers who liked this comment, the 22,000 of you. I need you to say to yourself, I don't have any idea how anything works. I just saw a video here on TikTok from a guy who was a pilot of Black Hawk helicopters who had flown that flight path over the Potomac many times before. And you know what his take was? A good one. It was a good take. Because he knew what he was talking about. You and I have no idea what the fuck is going on. We know jack shit. Can say it. I know jack shit. I know jack shit. I know jack shit. I need you motherfuckers to say this. I know jack shit. I am a little baby who knows jack shit about helicopter flying. One of the things I like to remember...
So let me get this straight. Now videos are popping up from people in Mexico that say they wish they had Donald Trump as a leader. Is that what they're saying? That if Donald Trump was the president of Mexico, that he would go in and start fixing shit, and definitely like with the cartels, just like he's doing here. Am I hearing correctly? You know, we got people over here protesting, saying, you know, F him, and this and that. But yet people in Mexico say, we need a leader like him to fix Mexico. Dude.
I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Doge might be the best department government has created in a long time. As a matter of fact, if I were a state rep, I probably would write a bill that created one for my state.
Tonight, the Army released the identity of the third crew member aboard that Black Hawk helicopter that collided with an American Airlines flight over the Potomac River this week. Captain Rebecca Loback, a native of Durham, North Carolina, was 28 years old. 67 people were killed in the crash. Tonight, the Army released the identity of the third crew member aboard that Black Hawk helicopter that collided with an American Airlines flight over the Potomac River this week. Captain Rebecca Loback.
This is wild. The Canadian dollar and the Mexican peso have plummeted in value when compared to the US dollar since President Trump imposed his tariffs on the countries yesterday. Canadian dollar was hit the hardest. It plunged to its lowest levels since 2003. It's clear that President Trump's tariffs have shaken up the Canadian economy. And President Trump's message to Canada: we can fix this easily. Just become the 51st state. This morning he posted, "We pay hundreds of billions of dollars to subsidize Canada. Why? There is no reason. We don't need anything they have. We have unlimited energy, should make our own cars, and have more lumber than we could ever use. Without this massive subsidy, Canada ceases to exist as a viable country." Harsh, but true. Therefore, Canada should become our cherished 51st state, much lower taxes and far better military protection for the people of Canada, and no tariffs. First, I thought he was kidding about this, but now I'm not so sure. As always.
So President Donald Trump and his Secretary of State Marco Rubio just took back the Panama Canal from China. And I bet you didn't know anything about it, did you?
El memorándum de entendimiento del año 2017 sobre la ruta de la seda the Belt and Road Initiative no será renovado por mi gobierno.
So he just said that Xi Jinping and China's 2013 Belt and Road Initiative will not be renewed in Panama with control over the Panama Canal. So what is the Belt and Road Initiative from China? Well, it was instituted in 2013. It's a massive infrastructure and economic development project aimed at enhancing connectivity and cooperation between China and the rest of the world. So that memorandum of understanding that Panama through the Panama Canal and China, Xi Jinping through the Belt and Road Initiative that they signed in 2017 is not going to be renewed. That Belt and Road Initiative and that memorandum of understanding essentially gave China control over the Panama Canal. And we got fucked on the deal.
Que esta visita abre un camino para construir una nueva etapa de relaciones. Así lo veo yo, así lo sentí de parte del secretario Marco Rubio.
So while you guys were focused on tariffs, which are going to have less than 1% net effect on our economy, and you guys are freaking out about it because you don't understand tariffs, and you didn't care about Joe Biden's tariffs because you weren't told that you were supposed to care about Joe Biden's tariffs, while you were fucking around with tariffs, Donald Trump was resecuring the Panama Canal in favor of the United States and our economy. So while Canada and Mexico are fighting over which one's going to become the 51st state, we just planted the flag back in Panama, and we now have control over the Panama Canal. Thank you, Donald Trump. Thank you, MAGA. Screw you, liberals. You don't know what the hell's going on around you, do you?
President Trump's aggressive efforts to undermine federal agencies with the help of Elon Musk. His latest victim is the U.S. Agency for International Development, or USAID, a government agency that provides development and humanitarian assistance to countries around the world. Last night, the administration removed 2 of the agency's top security officials after they refused to allow 4 representatives from Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, they call it DOGE, I call it Dodgy, to access its offices, classified personnel files, and security systems that were reportedly beyond their own security levels. In addition, most of the staff at the agency's Legislative and Public Affairs Bureau was placed on administrative leave Saturday night. This afternoon, Musk referred to USAID as a, quote, criminal organization, adding that it was, quote, time for it to die. The agency's X account has since disappeared, and the website usaid.gov is offline. In addition, across the Justice Department and the FBI, prosecutors, agents, and leaders are facing down the looming threat of being fired by the administration and replaced with loyalists. President Trump's aggressive...
These are sweeping tariffs. The president using a 1977 law to suggest there is now an extraordinary threat from fentanyl and illegal immigration, and that all 3 countries are failing to address those challenges. So, starting Tuesday, there will be 25% tariffs on all Mexican exports, 25% tariffs on most Canadian exports, 10% tariffs on Canadian energy exports, and 10% tariffs on all goods from China. This morning, the president acknowledged this could lead to higher prices, writing, "Will there be some pain? Yes, maybe, and maybe not," he wrote on his social media platform. "But we will make America great again, and it will all be worth the price that must be paid."
Canada's Prime Minister announced tariffs on American beer, bourbon, wine, lumber, fruits, clothing, appliances. So, Ed, what else should we expect is coming that could hurt American consumers?
Well, we should anticipate there could be a tit for tat here, because the orders that the president signed Saturday night give him the authority to keep raising tariffs on the three countries if they respond in kind, and that could contribute to an uptick in inflation, which we've seen in recent weeks. Now, the Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau spoke directly to Americans last night, warning the tariffs, quote, "will put your jobs at risk, potentially shutting down American auto assembly plants and other manufacturing facilities." And he said Canada's planned dollar-for-dollar retaliatory tariffs will raise American grocery and gas prices. And while President Trump accused Mexico of having an alliance with drug cartels, President Claudia Sheinbaum said if such alliances exist anywhere, they exist in the U.S. gun shops that sell high-powered weapons to criminal groups. And China says it firmly deplores and opposes this move and will take necessary countermeasures to defend its legitimate rights and interests. It is planning to protest these tariffs to the World Trade Organization. These are...
Donald Trump's tariffs are going to turn Canada into a third world country. Without exaggeration, we will soon be better known as Snow Mexico. So first, what is a tariff? A tariff is an import or export tax, meaning anything that goes into America being sold to an American company or individual will have a 25% federal tax added to it to be paid by the person who is buying the product. Now, again, this doesn't mean Canadians will have to pay 25% more, but what it does is it prices us out of the international market when it comes to America. Americans will just no longer buy anything from Canada. To put it into perspective as to how big of a deal this is, roughly 60% of our international trade is with America, and that accounts for 40% of our overall GDP. So our trade with America is almost half of our entire economic productivity, which is about to just be wiped off of our spreadsheet. And again, to really hammer in how serious this is, Doug Ford has said that his team has already advised him that he can expect unemployment numbers to go up by 500 to 600,000. Ontario's current unemployment is 600,000, meaning our unemployment is expected to double in the face of these tariffs and will definitely reach double-digit percentage-wise. Now, why are these tariffs being put in place? Donald Trump has cited our border as the issue. Over the recent years, the number of individuals being apprehended at the Canada-US border that are on terrorist watch lists has skyrocketed. So to put... As a comparison, it's roughly 350 individuals on terrorist watch lists apprehended at the Canada-US border compared to 150 at the Mexico-US border, meaning Canada is now the preferred route into America for terrorist and criminal organizations because of our lax immigration policies. For instance, Trudeau has turned Canada into an open border experiment over the last few years. Even just today, the Globe and Mail reported that 50,000 international students have not been showing up for class, meaning we have people that just, come here due from international student status and buy their way into Canada, essentially, and then just disappear once they're here. Even India has launched an investigation into the amount of Indians that come here with programs like our international student program and then immediately illegally cross into America. Also, our asylum program is a massive issue. People come here, they actually, here's a rock solid case, is the Ahmed Al-Didi case, who was granted Canadian citizenship despite being on video dismembering a victim for ISIS. He came here as an asylum seeker and did the whole year too long process of that, and then got granted Canadian citizenship. So again, this isn't the vast majority of them that are doing this, but the small number of them that are just slipping through the cracks because Canada is run by absolute imbeciles. So again, this is going to absolutely decimate Canada's economy. Every single province and territory in Canada is a larger trading partner with America than any other province. So each independent province trades with America more than anyone else in Canada. This is not minor at all. And what is our current state of governance? Well, we've got a government that is holding Canada hostage to prorogation. So in order to avoid a no confidence vote, there is no practical reason for this as far as needing to be done other than just to try to retain power for the Liberal Party so that they can shoehorn Mark Carney in as Justin Trudeau's replacement. So we've gone from having a World Economic Forum puppet to a World Economic Forum script writer become the Canadian Prime Minister. And all of the exact same policies that have created the scenario where these tariffs are getting put on us, like, say, the open border policies, are just going to continue. I know Trudeau said he was pulling back, but he hasn't, and he won't. And neither will his replacement. And, you know, you've got people like Doug Ford and Ottawa saying that we should go to economic war with America, despite the fact that we are completely dysfunctional. And you know what? I typically agree that you should negotiate through strength and that you shouldn't, just take a fetal position when somebody is attacking you. But the hard truth is that over the last 10 years, Canada's economy has been decimated to the point that we don't have strength to negotiate from.
It seems as though quite a few people are really upset about our new Department of Government Efficiency, aka DOGE, created by President Trump, Elon Musk, and Vivek Ramaswamy. The department is created to save taxpayers the frivolous amount of money that Congress is spending every year on absolutely ridiculous things. But maybe you don't know what they are, so hold on. Let me get my glasses because I'll let you know. Okay. So this is what Elon Musk has gotten rid of so far. The National Squirrel Census. Yeah. $2.3 million a year to count squirrels. I mean, I guess all of them? I'm not sure. Then there's the Federal Committee on Sandwich Standards. I don't know. I just don't know. But it costs us $5 million a year. The Bureau of Uneven Sidewalk Awareness.
Do you guys see the little dot above the moon tonight? That's Venus. It's February 1st, and the parade of planets is still going on. If anything, this month is going to be better because Mercury is going to join the party. All right, you want to go check this out through a telescope? All right, let's go. Let's dim this down, get a nice shot of Luna. Wow. It looks like parts of it are just hanging off into nothing, you know? I love that. All right, let's zoom in. Man, that looks so cool. I love waxing crescent moons. Nothing like it. Looks so pretty up in the sky next to Venus. Let's check out Jupiter. Oh man, that looks cool. Ooh, I only see 3 of the 4 moons. No, I see 4. There's one right next to it. There's a moon right next to Jupiter there. Can we see it? Is it going behind it? Oh, no, there it is. There it is. Now let's see if we can see some striations. There they are. Hey, Jupiter. All right, let's hop over to Venus. There's Venus, still partially in shadow. It's so bright. As it gets darker, you see the full disk of the moon there? Let's check that out. There is the Earth shine. See how you can see the dark portion of the moon?
Something about Donald Trump's tariffs that hasn't gotten a ton of attention yet is this loophole that the Trump administration closed that I think could profoundly impact fashion, online shopping, home decor, trends, all in one fell swoop. And it has to do with a little known loophole called the de minimis exception. Now, to be clear, up until today, this was totally legal, but under the de minimis exception, packages that were valued under $800 could come into the United States duty-free, so not taxed. This is partially why stores like Shein or Temu can keep their prices so low, because if they're shipping your item from the warehouse or factory in China, they're not paying that fee unless you're ordering more than like $800 worth of stuff. This is obviously a very popular way to ship things to customers in the US. And under the Biden administration, I believe they estimated that more than 1 billion packages a year come into the US under this de minimis exception. So they're not paying duties on these small packages that ship directly to the customer. Now that Donald Trump has closed this loophole, these packages, these billions of Temu packages or Shein or Amazon packages will, one, be inspected more closely by customs agents and also will be taxed when they come into the country. It's not just companies like Temu either. Think about all of the drop shippers, for example. All of that stuff is going to go up in price. Obviously, people will feel the tariffs at the grocery store or buying a new phone or a new computer or a new car. But I think maybe one of the first places we'll see this change is when we are shopping online. Americans have gotten very used to this ultra cheap fashion, home goods, and home decor. And I've written in the past about how this is very much an illusion and how this entire ecosystem is about to come crashing down, and now it's starting. Think about all the influencers that make their money selling you things that are coming straight from China. Think about the influencers who are selling clothing that was produced in China. This industry is about to get turned on its head, and I am very curious to see what happens to people's shopping habits when they can no longer afford or justify even the cheapest of goods. I'm very curious what will happen to the trend cycle when people just can't buy $5 dresses anymore because...
Don't sleep on this one. David Liebrick, a name you probably do not know, but a man who's touched millions of lives. He's held the most senior position in the Treasury Department that is not politically appointed for years. He basically runs the government's checkbook, our payment system. So things like Social Security, Medicare payments, tax refunds to government employees. This guy runs that $6 trillion of government money that goes out every year. Well, recently, a few of Elon Musk's allies that work in DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency with him, met with him and said they wanted to have access to this highly confidential payment system that very few people, even in the government, have. Well, he did not want to do that. And despite working there for years and years, he resigned on Friday. This is noteworthy for many reasons. Now, we don't know why this group of Doge guys wanted this access, but we do know this is another example of how Elon Musk and his allies, some of these guys who worked for him in previous companies, are moving more and more to have more control of our government. This one, I definitely thought you should know.
This is what really gets at the heart of why the president imposed these specifically on Canada and Mexico. It says in this fact sheet, quote, this tariff will remain in effect until such time as drugs, in particular fentanyl, and all illegal aliens stop this invasion of our country. Now,
So Trump has slapped a 25% tariff on Mexico and Canada and a 10% tariff on China. And after he did that, Trudeau from Canada responded with this.
Tonight, I am announcing Canada will be responding to the U.S. trade action with 25% tariffs against $155 billion worth of American goods. This will include immediate tariffs on $30 billion worth of goods as of Tuesday, followed by further tariffs on $125 billion worth of American products in 21 days' time to allow Canadian companies and supply chains to seek to find alternatives.
Now, this is likely going to increase prices in the US and in Canada for different things. With that in mind, about 77% of Canada's exports go to the United States, and about 17% of the United States' exports go to Canada. So these tariffs will affect the Canadians far more than it will affect the Americans.
It's February 2, 2025, and it's time for today's Trump administration quick list. The Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, began its work, and Elon Musk now has access to the Treasury's payout system. Among the various payments the government has made to individuals are enormous payouts to organizations headed by members of Congress, including Republican Senator Lindsey Graham, who heads the International Republican Institute. This organization received $137 million from the government. As noted on X, many in Congress will fight the shutting down of their institutions when they benefit from it. Elon Musk sued Lego, Nestle, and other brands, accusing them of spearheading an advertising boycott campaign against X. This suit was an amended complaint from the lawsuit that he filed in 2022 against the World Federation of Advertisers. In the financial world, the Securities and Exchange Commission is now headed by two Republicans, Mark Uyeda and Hester Pierce, and Democrat Caroline Crenshaw. These three modified a rule that allowed lower-level staff to formally launch investigations of fraud, and that power has now been revoked. All investigations must now be approved by these three commissioners. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu announced a visit to the U.S. to meet with Trump and discuss victory over Hamas. Secretary of State Marco Rubio arrived in Panama on his first foreign trip as secretary. Panama is the first stop on a trip to several Latin American and Caribbean countries where he plans to press leaders on Trump's agenda of a strong and collaborative Western Hemisphere and to address illegal immigration. That's today's Trump administration quick list. Brief, factual, daily.
This is why we have to wait before reporting facts on breaking stories. When the plane and the military helicopter collided, there was a lot of speculation that this was a result of poor communication coming from air traffic controllers. The portion of the audio that was provided, it made it seem as if they gave them insufficient information to really get a layout of where the plane was. In the press briefing today, we find out that there was 2 minutes worth of communication. The helicopter was repeatedly given notice that the airliner was coming in and what gate it was going towards. It gave the distance at different intervals from 2,000, 1,500 feet. It seems like the auto controls were disabled, which means that this pilot, which has now been identified as this 28-year-old female pilot with 500 hours of experience, was in command of the helicopter. There were even instructions for the helicopter to hold back so that it can enter the airspace behind the plane. But despite all of these warnings, the helicopter proceeded to collide into the airliner. This press conference right now did leave me with a lot more questions than answers on the intent of the pilot of the Black Hawk helicopter, why it took so long for her information to be released, and what happened to the chief pilot that was on board with her. And with all of the other tragedies that are happening all at the same time, a lot of these details get muddled and lost, but it's important to stay focused so we can really get a grasp on what is happening. It's only February 1st, and it seems like we've had a year's worth of incidences in 1 month.
This is a large tide pool on a very remote part of the island. In fact, I don't think more than 1 or 2 people a month even walk by this area. In this tide pool, once I put the camera in, the fish didn't scatter like usual. In fact, they came around to see what was going on. And you could see flagtails, manini, raccoon butterfly fish, all kinds of fish in here. And they're curious. And usually where there's a lot of people around, they scatter.
Here are 4 things you can see in the February night sky. The full snow moon will be visible the night of February 12th into the 13th. Venus will reach its greatest brightness on the night of the 16th. Look low on the western horizon on the evening of the 24th to see Mercury and Saturn appear very close to each other very soon after sunset. Up to 5 planets will be visible with the naked eye with a planetary parade happening at the end of February. Now our 2 outer planets, you'll need a visual aid to see those, but you could see Venus, Jupiter, Mars, and Mercury with the naked eye. Saturn is a little close to the sun by the end of the month. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Rochelle, a meteorologist, but I also like to share space information like this with you.
I still cannot get over the beauty of us coming together. I am so blessed to have seen this day. China and America defying the governments and us coming together in one platform And then we are joined by the other nationalities, and I have lived to see this day of one world, new world, true world, united world, utopia.
Here's Lonnie with the last sliver of one of the once mighty glaciers. Within the decade, there will be no more snows of Kilimanjaro.
Guys, for ordinary Chinese people, this is also the first time we get so close to real Americans.
These guys are juveniles. They're just kind of goofy, honestly.
You can't summon a whole generation just by playing a song.